Welcome back to Coin Sense and Nonsense. Today, we're going to take a look at our dime collection. This is Coveting Constitutional Coins, and today's Mercury Dimes. And so, in another video, I showed you guys my quarter collection from when I was a kid. This Mercury Dime book is pretty darn sparse. I don't really have a ton. This page is a little better, but we do have some key things missing there. So, I figure we may as well start at the front. I can't get that one, not realistically anyway. But this one, I had a chance to get, and it's not the greatest condition, but it is the 1916 S, and so we can fill that up in our book. But we have all this, and so now we have all this. I had an opportunity to get some Mercury Dimes, and I took advantage. So I went through, there was a huge bag of Mercs, and I went through and I picked out all the ones that were pre-1940. And then when I got home, I realized, I need those other ones from the 40s as well. So when I went back to get the other quarters, I got the rest of the dimes too. So we have a lot of dimes to go through, and hopefully you guys like some dimes. Alright, so there are 187 dimes in this batch. So I'm going to go through and sort them by date, and then we'll check for various whatnot and whatnot. So I know condition is crap on a lot of these, and some of them are kind of worn away, but I don't think these have ever been properly checked. I think these came from an older collector who just stashed them away, and then when they passed away, their relative sold them to this place that I deal with, and now I got them. So some of the condition isn't too bad, right? We'll check these out. Alright, so here's a little midway organizational point, and so I got them separated into dates. And man, I'm so happy with what I got here. They're worn to hell, but got a whole pile here, 1916s. They're all plain dates or Philadelphia's, but still, that's pretty darn cool. So 1916, 1917, I'll still further separate into mint marks, but for now, just giving you the rundown here. 1918, 1919, that is sweet. 1920, and so during this time, this was like World War I-ish, so this coin design has seen so much history, so more to come here. So there's a gap here. Why is that? So after 1920, the 1921s were really scarce. They only made like 1 million or so of each of those, so those are kind of hard to get. No coins made at all in 1922, and then resumed in 1923, and then so things started to kick up again. Ooh, a little bit of glare kicked up. 1924, got some 25s, 26, 7, 8, and 9. And what happened in 1929? Oh, the Great Depression. So that made coins more scarce, but believe it or not, I got a 1931 in this pile. And so the 1931 by itself, if it's a plain date, there's like, I think 3 million or 4 million. It's kind of a lower mintage one. But this is a friggin' S. It's blurry, yes. It's an S. There's only 1.8 or 1.9 million of those minted. Holy crap. So the condition is crap, but 1931, that is just amazing. So then there were gaps in coinage there. So there's nothing in 32, 33. and then they resumed again in 34. And then here we go. I got everybody else 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. And then, like I was saying in the beginning, I did get I weeded out most of the 1940s in this batch because I wanted to concentrate on the older ones. But there were some 1940s that I did throw in here that were kind of nicer quality. So there's a nice 1942 and whatnot. So, and that's a pretty good one too, 1945. But also in this thing, so there was one unreadable. This is a 1920 something something something, but it's all scratched right through the fourth digit. And then there was even a Barber, 1907. It's a plain date, so no especial there, but that's still pretty cool. So, but yeah, I do also have all the 1940s coins to go through after this, so holy moly. Alright, so here we are further broken down. So, I don't know if you care, but here we go. All plain date 1916s. So, 1917 D and S. That's amazing. 1918 D and S. And these are all 1919 Ps. Actually, are these Ds? Yeah, they are. Okay, I'm not lying yet. So then 1919, oh no, 1920 PDS. Again, no coins in 22. 1921 is really scarce. I don't have those. 23 P and S. That's cool. And then things started getting a little bit sparse in 1924, especially with the D and S. So that's awesome. I got plenty of the P's. Same thing in 25S. I got two of them, and those are fairly scarce, so that's not. Yeah, so these ones with the 1924S and 1925S, they're kind of in the 4 to 6 million minted range. So on with the 1926s, I should say. Plenty of those, but the 26D, that is cool. That's kind of a lower mintage one. 1927 got the full run there, but the D and the S I think are also a low mintage. I did do like a little tally here of everything. The ones with the little dots are, yeah, so 1927 D and S are also kind of low mintage ones. 28 and 29 I got just well, actually these are mostly P coins, and then I did get a 29S, which is cool. But this is still the star of the show, 1931S. There's only 1.8 million of these minted, and I got one, so that is sweet. 1934 P's got a bunch, and I guess these are D's. They didn't have any S coins in 1934. They hadn't re-kicked up yet. And then in 1935, got the three mints represented, kind of a lot of 35S. And then 36 got the full spread. So actually for the rest of the 1930 decade, got the P, D, and S. And there's my 1940s, but we'll do the 1940s separately. There are some nicely toned coins mixed in here too, so that is kind of cool. So let's put some in the book. I did look when I went through here, all these ones with the check marks I need in my book. So there's 32 coins from this group that I'm going to put in my book. That is so cool. So I'm not going to bore you with all that, but we'll do a before and after of the book pages. Alright, here's the before of page 1. Alright, and here is the after. Look at that. Love it. And then we got the residuals going in a tube. Alright, so here's the before of page 2. Alright, and here's the after of page 2. So these have some sweet ones I filled in here. This one is awesome. That's the best so far, or the most rare. So yeah, very, very cool. Oh yeah, and we're filling up the tubes. Alright, and here's the before of page 3. Got most of them filled in, but we'll look to see if any of them are nicer or whatever. Alright, so here is page 3. Mostly filled in. Actually, my finger is friggin' busted from trying to fit these things into the holes. If anybody's had one of these albums from the 70s, they know. It's a finger killer. The modern day ones, they snap in a little easier. These are, woo. So after doing 32 of them, my thumb joint is a little busted. So that ends phase 1. We got phase 2 here. We got, for the 1940s, I went back and I got more. So we're gonna have to go through these. I'm hoping that some of the conditions a little better, but what I started thinking after I got home, I go, oh no, they're 1942 over 41. Oh, I guess there are some 30s and still in here. I had some throwbacks after a while. I got weary, but the condition seems a little bit nicer on these, so we'll see what we can do. Alright, so we got our bag of mostly 1940s separated out into years. I didn't do mint marks yet, but there's the 30s holdovers there. 1934, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'll go through and see if there's anything better than what I pulled earlier, or if I missed anything. And then for the 1940s, and I'm sorry about the glare, what do we got going here? It's the whole thing in 1940s. 2 stacks of 1941. And this one, actually a lot in the 1940s had varieties, so that's why I was kicking myself when I left them behind initially. So we'll discuss a little more of that. So I'll separate these out. I'm actually going to look under the scope. I got a new microscope, so we're going to check it out. Alright, so now we're a little more organized here into mint marks. And I believe I was missing, I think 1940 and 41S, and so I got those covered now, I believe. So yeah, these are all P, D, and S piles of 41, 42, 43, 44, and 45. Actually, wait a minute. 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Dummy. And one of the main reasons that I wanted to go back and get these was to check for 1941, 42 over 41. I had a couple that were kind of interesting, but no dice, unfortunately. But there are other varieties in the 40s Mercs. Oh, why are there 4 piles of 1943? 1943 had 2 different styles of S mint mark, and I think I might have the variety. This one's called, or the one I'm after is called a trumpet style S. So we'll take a look at the scope, or under the scope, to check that one out. And actually in 1941 they also had that trumpet style S as a variety, but I didn't see any that were interesting. And in 1945 they had, gosh darn the glare here, in 1945 they also had an S variety. There was a small S or a micro S, and that has an interesting history as well. I was hoping I had one to show you, but unfortunately I don't. But the story with that is the micro S that appeared on that 1945 S variety was the only time that style S was used in 1940s U.S. coinage. And it originally appeared, or it was previously used in Philippine coinage of from 1903 to 1920. So I do have some of those, but I don't have the Merc corresponding to show you, so we won't bother. But let's shut up and take a look at this 1943 under the scope. Alright, pardon the helicopter coming by. So this is a typical S that you would see in 1943. It's worn for sure, but you can see the serifs, the upper and lower serif, they have like points on both ends. And let's check the other one. So this is the one I think might be the variety. I'm not 100% sure that it's just not worn, but it's called the trumpet style S, and it does have that kind of rounded thing. This upper serif points down like it's supposed to. So I think this might be it. And if it is, it might be like, you know, since the condition is kind of jacked up, it should be worth about 30 bucks if it's, you know, kind of in fair condition. But I think in this condition, maybe, you know, get 10 bucks for a dime. That's not bad. But I'm going to keep it. So, and even though I don't have one, what you're looking for on the 1942 over 41, there should be like a residual 1 there and kind of an offset 4, but no dice. And when I was checking other 1942s, look at this. But unfortunately, I think it's just machine doubling, so yeah. But it was pretty interesting, I'll say. And likewise, this 1945 also had some interesting things here, but again, I think it's machine doubling, so I don't see split serifs, and that's really what you've got to have, or some doubling in other areas, so it's interesting, though. Alright, and I did pull out some that had interesting toning, so I'll see what's up there. Could be damage and not real toning, but they look kind of interesting in different, you know, in better light. And then this one, I think, might just be over polished. This was from that original batch, and it's a 1923. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a proof, but I think it's just someone along the way polished it with silver polish or something. So, but when we last left my book, I had like 2 spots open. So 1940S, I think that one was the better of those, so I'll have that. And 1941S. So that will complete my page 3, and I will replace that one. I think that's kind of junky. So very, very nice. So I thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed watching this little Mercury Dime madness. And yeah, thanks so much for watching Coin Sense and Nonsense. And until next time, bye. Bye.